This meditation is an invitation to relax deeply using only the breath. Breathing in through the nose, count to 6. And breathing out, exhaling again, count to 6. Again, breathe in slowly. And as you exhale this time, allow your relaxation to double as you become twice as relaxed, twice as calm. Take a slow, deep breath in, and every time you exhale, imagine that you go deeper and deeper into the center of your being, where there is complete stillness. Let the breath carry you there, breathing in slowly and exhaling as you double your relaxation and go deeper and deeper into the center of your being. Feeling calm, relaxed, and completely peaceful. Knowing that you can simply bring your attention to your breath and allow it to move slowly in and out whenever you need to relax, whenever you need to deepen your sense of calm and connection with your own center and soul.
Greetings of peace. Are you excited to embark on a journey to continue from the last session? Period 9, Embracing the Future, the Rise of the Phonics. However, if you missed that one, you can still continue on this exciting journey with us, as the topics, though linked, they are individual. So, Feng Shui. It is such a vast subject, and what we covered in the last session is just a drop of the ocean. So here we are again to give you another drop. Still, period 9, but this time it's rising from the ashes, empowering the self. I'm Dimple and honored to be your host once again. I'm sure our speaker will summarize what we covered in the last and move in deeper, actually. So you can always watch our previous covered spiritual session on Meditation Cafe's YouTube channel. So please do have your writing materials on hand, some paper, some pen. You will have a lot to jot down and ask questions at the end Q&A session or along the way to make it more interactive. So due to high demand this time, we also have arranged Mandarin translation. So you can click on the translation option available below and switch to Mandarin if that is more comfortable for you. So last session, you had actually watched a bit of a Harry Potter short video. Do you remember? Well, that actually makes us understand the value of the current time which is the period 9 and what it brings for us. It's okay if you don't remember because we'll play it again for you. So going into the speaker, again, Gayle Shakti Atherton has been a Feng Shui master for more than 30 years, being the first Westerners to have received the title and respect of Feng Shui Master from the Chinese in 1994. She is also a student of Raja Yoga meditation and also a teacher. So that makes her double special. And she's been in Raja Yoga since 1985. Earlier than when she received her master's title for Feng Shui. So in the early 2003, she began to develop inner Feng Shui, which quickly became a life mastering skill for many. So we shall begin our journey with her once again.
Harry?
Professor, so your bird, there was nothing I could do. He just caught fire.
Oh, and about time too. He's been looking dreadful for days. Pity you had to see him on a burning day. Fox is a phoenix, Harry. They burst into flame when it is time for them to die, and then they are reborn from the ashes. Fascinating creatures, phoenixes. They can carry immensely heavy loads, and their tears of healing powers.
Professor Dumbledore, sir. Wait.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, the time of the Phoenix is definitely going to be a mystical time. And that's because the Phoenix is a mystical creature. And it occupies the place that is in front of our building. So it is the one that sees what is coming to us first. And that's a very, very important thing because to be able to see what is about to happen before it happens allows an enlightened soul to be able to act in the right way. And, you know, we could argue what is the right way, but the right way is the way that is the best way for us to go. So today we are following on from the first introduction of period 9, and we're going to go on a little bit of a journey, and the journey that we're going on is relating to the self. And the reason why it has to relate to the self is because period 9 in all of the scriptures that dictate the actual timing that we are in right now indicate that the greatest thing that we can do at this point in time in the drama of life is to be able to gain our own enlightenment and really, in reality, reach our highest stage, because period 9 is the time of the third eye. And because it is the time of the third eye, that means that we have to delve deeper into our spiritual selves, and in order to be able to see the 3 aspects of time, for example. So what are the 3 aspects of time, you might ask? And here, well, especially at the Raj Yoga centers, we understand that the 3 aspects of time is about our past, our present, and our future. And by understanding the past and letting go of the past, because not everybody's past is perfect, and being able to be present in the current time frame. So, in other words, in my daily life, I understand what I'm actually doing. You know, what am I doing? Which meeting am I about to go into? What kind of things do I need to say in that meeting? And then, you know, what value can I add to that present time? And because the value that I add to the present time is going to also appear in the future. So, and the future, of course, is what we want to be able to create. We want to be able to create our good future, you know. So, and not only do we want to create our good future, but we want to create a good future that is good for everybody, because the more that we can create good energy in our lives, the more that other people will benefit from what we do. And also what that means is that we will be creating good karma wherever we go. And, you know, that is like almost the highest form of income, because when I create good karma, then I actually am able to accrue blessings. So you could say that money is the thing that we accrue for our physical lives, but accruing blessings is the things that we can gain and store and take value from in our spiritual lives. And blessings is a very deep thing, because what it actually means is it means that the people that are in front of me have actually given me permission to do things in their favor. They trust me so much that they allow me to be able to, you know, they feel confident enough in me that they allow me to be able to open up positive vibrations that could bring benefit to everybody and every situation. So it's a little bit like, you know, when you know that someone's going to die, do you wish them luck, or do you cry because they're about to leave you? So, you know, on one hand, we are going to miss that person, so crying would be a natural thing. But to wish them well on their journey, on their spiritual journey, is definitely a greater thing, because, you know, wherever they go, to have your good wishes that are traveling with them, that's a very powerful form of spirituality. So today what I would like to do is take up a little bit from last week, what we started. And I will say that there's a few more journeys down this road ahead if you like our format. But to be able to, you know, go into looking into what type of dynamics we can create in our lives, and why, you know, because we're living in a very uncertain world at the moment. You know, certainly the things that are taking place in America, you know, are affecting the whole world. I think that America is trying very hard to get rid of some problems that it's got. So, you know, there's a level of probably patience that we need with that. And also faith that everything will be all right in the end. So, you know, there's a saying that the boat of truth can shake, but it never sinks. And, you know, it's like when you're in turbulent waters, definitely your boat will be moving around. But to be able to stay strong yourself, to be able to keep a stable frame of mind also allows you to be able to think clearly. And the value of thinking clearly is that right at any point in time, so remember that we had a slide last time, and I have got it in this time as well, where we were talking about the past, the present, and the future. So for a person who is stable and more peaceful, they naturally gain the awareness and the ability to remain cool and calm in most, in hard situations. So that's what we're aiming for in our lives. Sometimes we will definitely be really good at that. Other times we might be a little bit less, but it doesn't mean that we should give up on pursuing peace. There's a lot of very hidden virtues that come from peace. And in fact, almost every other virtue that we have comes from peace. So let's start off our project today, and I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. Oh, let's see here. What have we got going on? There we go. All right, so I'm sharing that screen. Now I hope you can see it. I'm going to take this little thing away. There we go. Let me just get myself organized here and move a few things around so that I can let the dog see the rabbit, as they say. And of course, dogs and rabbits have got a spiritual harmony in Bazi astrology. The dog and the rabbit are combined as good friends. All right. So in our session today, we're talking about rising from the ashes. And one of the reasons why that kind of discussion is very important is because it's not as though we can necessarily do everything perfectly all the time. So when we are rising from the ashes, just like Harry Potter's Phoenix, the new bird, the new little sweet bird arrived and said hello to, Harry and what have you. And, he went on to chuckle, and he's getting ready to live a new existence. And so one of the things that is very deeply profound, and certainly a very hidden rule in period 9, is the fact that it's not going to necessarily be an ice cream party. In fact, it's probably going to have, some very steep ups and some very steep downs. And even now, as we speak, we have a war going on in Israel. We have a war going on in Ukraine. And as of just recently, we have a war going on the borders between India and Pakistan. So, there are certainly elements. So we've got 3 wars going on, and in period 9, it's known for having wars. So one of the things that all nations can that do very well with at a time of war is peace, meditation and peace. And in fact, meditation is scientifically documented many times over for being able to reduce the crime rate in neighborhoods, to be able to reduce any, anger and hostility. I mean, even if you're in a room with one person becoming very angry and the rest of you are peaceful, that person will not be able to continue on for very long unless people start to lose their peace, of course, which can always happen, especially when you're afraid. So rising from the ashes means that you are empowering yourself. But how do we empower ourselves? That's the big question. Are we empowering ourselves by having a bath? Are we empowering ourselves by going swimming? Are we empowering ourselves by going to the caves and the mountains to visit all our ancestral energies and the energies that we know have been, traveling with us for generation after generation in terms of our family and our relatives and our culture? So for every person, they've got a dynamic where, we all have our history, we have our relations, we have our ways of being able to be peaceful. But I think we are in this period 9. One thing that is very, very clued up with period 9 is the opening of the third eye. And really, I only know of one thing that can open the third eye, and that is meditation. And some levels of Qigong and martial arts can as well, but the difference being is that one is soul conscious and one can still hold the traces of body consciousness. And when we have body consciousness, which we will be exploring today, when we get lost in body consciousness, because usually what happens is that we do actually get lost in it and we don't realize, 1 minute we're feeling really happy and the next minute we've just accidentally dived into being body conscious, and we don't even realize that we're there. Half the time we don't realize, and then we sort of go, oh, hang on a minute, I think I'm in a place where I shouldn't be. So empowering the self is definitely a journey, and so it'll be great for us to explore that journey tonight. Now we might go a little bit over time and we might go a little bit under time, so I'll just let you know that. Now let's see here, what have we got? So with period 9, do you remember last week or the last time we met, and I made the comment of welcome to the future and how period 9 only deals with the future? And the very, very interesting thing that I find about period 9 is that it is the only period where the current luck star is not a prosperity star. And in period 9, it's not only not a prosperity star, it's also not a human luck star, although human luck can be developed probably easier in a way than prosperity, because it's not actually a prosperous star, which doesn't mean that it's not vibrant or it hasn't got the energy. It has. But in period 8, our 8 star, our 8 water star was busy making money, and in fact so many people became very wealthy in period 8. Period 7 the same, period 6 the same, even in period 5 when we had a war going on, it was still the same. Period 4 was the same, period 3 was the same, period 2 was the same, period 1 is the same. So, but period 9 does not have a propensity to make money, because it is mainly focused on the future. And when I say the future is right now and going forward. So period 9, if you stay locked into the past in period 9, you will end up very confused because you won't be able to make sense of the past. And so this is a little bit like the burning of the phoenix. Once that part is finished, it's like, the phoenix in Harry Potter could not go back to being the old phoenix that it was, which had a lot of knowledge and all this type of stuff. So one of the things that we can find going forward in period 9 is that we whatever we have been skilled at in the past, it's like those skills need to go through a new revelation. You know, those skills need to be almost upskilled, no matter how skilled we are, which is kind of a very crazy thing to say. But that's because period 9 is always about the future, and it is related to the phoenix being in front of our building. So the phoenix is always ahead of us. We can actually get a lot of our intuitions from the phoenix going forward and then coming back and protecting us. You know, the phoenix is like a protective bird because it has the gift of sight. And so one of the things that is the huge focus of period 9 is, what do we see? What do we see? What do we really see? And that is a very, very interesting topic unto itself, because I'm going to share something today that's a very big secret, where we are always seeing the future. So if you remember my slide from the past, the present, and the future, you know, we do know the past. We have got it in our mind. We are usually very alert to the present time because that's the real time that we're dealing with. But the future is also the other place that we are invested in. So it's like the soul has got the ability to know the past, the present, and the future at every moment in time. And so that is what is going to be brought out in period 9. Period 9 deals with the past, the present, and the future. And even though we've gone through period 8 knowing the past, the present, and the future, we've gone through period 7 knowing the past, present, and future, it will be nowhere near as heightened as what it will be now. So are we becoming psychic? No, we're not becoming psychic, because the past, the present, and the future is the normal vision of the soul when the soul is stepping out in a more spiritual way. So it doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim, a Christian, you know, any religion. Your religion is almost a secondary thing, because the primary thing is that period 9 is a very compelling time. It's like we are all awake, you know, and we are all heightened, and we're all on to what's going to happen next. So what I'm suggesting to you is that if we can calm ourselves down a little, and this is why the virtue of peace is so powerful. You know, peace allows you to just sit with yourself comfortably. So if we can develop that habit of being able to sit with ourselves comfortably, then we will be able to always know the beginning, the middle, and the end of a situation, the past, the present, the future, the creation, the sustenance, and the destruction of something. And so those three things are extremely related, because there is, you know, nothing has the ability to live all the time, nothing. You know, not the plants, not well, maybe the ocean, but the ocean is always changing as well. You know, the ocean right now is the most polluted it's ever been right throughout time, up until, you know, the time that we're currently in. So the trees are not the same, you know, the ground is not the same, the vegetables and minerals and the food we grow and the food we eat is not the same. In fact, all of our food has changed from even 100 years ago, or even 200 years ago, you know. You know, historically, some people continue to make their food travel down with them, but there's also times where we can go through just completely changing our food, you know. Just as an example, somebody was telling me many years ago when I was in Santa Barbara and I was doing a few things over there, and they said to me, this was the owner of an Italian restaurant, and he said to me, you know, we never used to put garlic in our food. And I said, really? I think there'd be about 4 million Italians that would argue that point. And they said, no, we never had garlic, we never had onion, because we liked the sweetness of the tomato. So it's like as we go through time, we're always changing things, even though we don't realize it. So period 9 is all about welcome to the future, because period 9 only deals with the future. And, you know, I mean, put your hand up or say yes in the chat if since 2024 you notice yourself really just thinking about today and tomorrow. You know, is that hang on, I can't even see the chat. Where have I got the chat somewhere? Oh yes, here we go. I better open it up so I can see it. Yeah, put a yes or a no in the chat if you think that you've, you know, only been looking at, you know, today and tomorrow, you know. So today and tomorrow are an extremely important thing, because they're going to determine the day after. All right. So there we go. So period 9 only deals with the future. But you need to view the future from the right angle. And what is that right angle? So today, the direction I'm taking us is to look at the right angle, which is to let go of being unlucky. So who here has gone through times in their life where they felt unlucky? I know I have, so I've got my hand up. Yeah, a few people saying me, a few people saying yeah, yes, me, yeah. Letting go of being unlucky is what? Is it the past, the present, or the future? It is the past, right? Because even if I was unlucky a minute ago, it's still the past, all right? So yes, it's the past. So let go of being unlucky and focus on what we can do, and go towards the energy that is right for us. So that is the right angle to look out of that spacecraft. We want to look, whenever we are looking for what should I be doing next, we want to look at, you know, like let go of whatever has been, you know, you've been going with. Look at what you can do and go towards the energy that's right for you. So, and the reason why is because destiny always finds the person who creates a good destiny. And so what do you think it is that creates a good destiny? What do you think creates a good destiny? Got any ideas? You can pop them in the chat and I can have a look at what you're saying. I've got the chat open now. What do you think is when you can create a good destiny? What can you tap into to create a good destiny? Any ideas? Give happiness. Someone's saying give happiness. Yeah, that's very good. Yes, to give happiness is definitely good. What else? Righteous actions, connect more often with other souls. Yep. Faith, trust, optimism, right action. Yes. Good thoughts. Yes. So yes, all of these things are definitely creating the things that create a good destiny. So And the reason why that is so is because everything is energy, and energy is everything. A good friend of mine has this saying, and I'm stealing it from her for tonight, but Mindy Jung is also a very old practitioner of Feng Shui in every way, and this is one of her things that she likes to share with people. So everything is energy. The things that we do create energy, and energy is absolutely everything. Energy ends up being everything. So, yes. And so period 9 is about the energy that we create. So we're constantly creating something, unless we're dead. I don't see any dead people here tonight. So whatever we're creating is all about the energy that we're creating for period 9. And period 9 is, in normal numerology, 9 is known as a very karmic number. Now, I don't want to scare you with that, because karmic, in the truest translation of the word karma, means action. Karma means action. So we've got sukh karma, which is good action, pure action. We've got vikarma, which is pretty bad karma, and then we've got akarma, which is neutral. So karma is one word that just simply means action. So period 9 is about the energy that we create and then the actions that we do ultimately. So what is the best energy to create? Anyone got any thoughts on that? What thoughts have you got on what kind of thing do you think would be the best energy? What would you like to see as the best energy? Any thoughts? Pure ones. Positive thoughts. Yes. Yep. Love, peace and joy for sure. Elevated and beneficial. Yep. Peaceful and gentle. Yep. Definitely. No wasteful thinking. Good on you, Dimple. I like that too. So the best energy to create is already inside me. But what is it? So the best will start from something that is within. We know that much, right? So the top secret of it is, it lies in things like, is it our self-esteem? Is it our confidence? Is it our self-love? Is it our self-respect? What do you think is the best out of those four? What would you, if you were going to vote, what would you vote on? What do you think is the best to create good energy for yourself? Which one do you like the most, or which one appeals to you? Self-love. So Savinda is saying self-love. Yeah. So, Rajinder is also saying self-love. Yeah. Now, tell me what happens. Oh, Kelly's going for self-love as well. Okay, everyone thinks self-love. That's good. Okay, that's really good. Now, what about self-confidence? Self-awareness. Okay, Peter's got a different one to what we've got down here. Self-awareness, yes. Oh, I have to grant that because it's got the word self in front of it. Good on you, Peter. All right. What else? This is a top secret, I guess, pathway. Yep. All right. So let's take a little look at these things here. So self-esteem. from a technical point of view, self-esteem, according to psychologists, they believe that self-esteem is a perception that we have. So it's the way that we perceive our own worth as human beings. So, okay, we've got Joy who said self-kindness. That's good. Yes, I think we definitely have to be kind to ourselves for sure. What else? So, would you all say that you've got good self-esteem? And the reason why I'm asking, oh, okay, Joyce also said self-forgiving. The reason why I'm asking you about whether you think you've got good self-esteem is because sometimes when you come from a particular background where you've had maybe a lot of cruelty, or you've experienced some very hard knocks in relationships, one of the things that other relationships do is they give us this mirror of ourselves. And so we start to, so if somebody's always telling us that we're dumb and stupid, it's very hard for us to hold ourselves in high self-esteem, because especially if that person is important to us, then, we might sort of not be able to build our self-esteem. So self-esteem for me is something that it is the way that we perceive our own worth as human beings, but in a way that's going to depend on the human beings that we're around, whether they do appreciate our good qualities or they don't appreciate our good qualities. And one of the things I've put the Hollywood sign up there, because sometimes people, when they go to Hollywood, they really get a big test on their self-esteem. And and also you don't have to go to Hollywood to get a good test on your self-esteem. You can start a new job and get a good test on your self-esteem just as much. So the next one we've got is self-confidence. And the way that the psychologists classify self-confidence, actually I learned a very surprising thing about self-confidence. And what they said is that confidence is shaped by our experiences, our relationships, and doing things. And that's quite interesting to me, because it's like if we don't go and do things, if we don't get into relationships with others, if we don't put ourselves through experiences, whether it's, going to the beach on Sundays every day, or going walking, or walking your dog, or just doing something, or maybe you take out an art class or things like that. If you don't do things like this, then it's harder for you to get self-confidence, because self-confidence is a thing that gets proven to you in your head, by your experiences, your relationships, and doing things. And that leads us to a lack of self-confidence, because like I was saying before, we're not always around our best relationships or connecting to our best people, or, being able to, like, you might go to work, but you might not be able to excel in your job simply because you're not given that opportunity. So, people don't have confidence in you, which is interesting, because we can't have, it's harder for people who don't have self-confidence to actually acquire the confidence from others. So others will often, oh, bang, I've just dropped things. Others will often perceive that we don't have any confidence, and so they don't have confidence in us either, which is a very interesting sort of dynamic, because what it means is that sometimes when people don't have confidence in you, it may not be about you, but it may be about them slightly, right? But, if we don't have self-confidence, they will definitely pick that up, and they may not have confidence in us either. Now, the third one is self-love. And having self-love means that you do come from high esteem circumstances in your life. And again, if you have grown up in situations where people have not, you've been a bit invisible to people and people have not sort of pegged you as being a person that they could love or respect, or, they can't, they don't see your qualities as a person, then it's harder to have self-love. And because if somebody else doesn't see your qualities, sometimes that's also because you don't see your own qualities. Because if you were able to see your own qualities, then you would be able to have that self-love. And so, but it's just a very interesting type of a dynamic, So one of the things that we say is that where there is no respect, there can be no love. Where there is no respect, there can be no love. So if somebody doesn't respect you, they won't love you, right? Because really the sign of love is also respect. The sign of love is respect. So, and that's what makes self-love linked to self-respect. So if you have self-respect, you will be able to have self-love, right? You may not have it initially, but you will gain it as you go along and get it. So with self-respect is what I'm focusing on for tonight. And to me, it is the king of self-love. It is the king of, self-esteem. It is the king of self-confidence. And the reason why I'm saying that is because self-respect is the world that we create for ourselves. The way that we accept ourselves and the way that we sustain ourselves and increase the value of ourselves to ourselves, right? So if you have no self-love, no self-esteem, no self-confidence, then you need to go for self-respect. And self-respect is to be able to say, hang on a minute, you might not see my value, but I know I've got value. So I'm going to hang on to my value. And, that is a very period 9 thing to do and to say, and it is the big lesson of period 9, is not for us to be waiting for other people to find our value, but for us to find our own value. That is the thing. That is the very, very big thing. And when you are able to start to respect yourself, then you will hold the world in the palm of your hand. It will be the world that you create for yourself. So no one will be able to take it from you. It'll be the way that you accept yourself. And so no one will be able to change what you know about yourself, right? And this is going to become the way that we sustain ourselves, the way that we hone in on the value that we have in our lives and the value that we have for ourselves. So this is a very different type of journey to all the other selves, including self-awareness, because self-awareness will mean that we can become aware of our good points and our bad points, but we don't always know what to do with self-awareness. Self-kindness is definitely related to self-respect, and self-forgiving is definitely related to self-respect, right? So anything like any of these other qualities can be related. So self-respect depends on looking at who am I? So who am I? Who am I, this person? And who am I, this soul? So am I a body or am I a soul? And that is the, that is the real question to be asked, and certainly the question for period 9, because period 9 will wait for absolutely no one. Period 9 is not taking prisoners, right? Period 9 is off and running and to the races. And, since period 9 has started, lots of things have been going on, and you will see many, many more things to come that you could barely imagine even being possible, but they will be possible. And period 9 will bring them out, because period 9, and especially this year, this is the year of the wood snake, is actually a very beneficial year to begin shedding your skin. So, in fact, all the hexagrams last week, we went into the hexagrams that, show that we need to reform. And so, it's very interesting that America is doing a massive reformation in the US, but really every single government on the face of the earth has to reform, because it's not suiting the people, it's not accommodating the people, and it's unsustainable in most cases. So Vincent's asked a question, which is period 9 expected to be chaotic throughout with wars and conflicts due to the fire element? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's going to be like that. So, in some ways, really say yes in the chat now. If you notice a difference between period 8 and period 9, do you notice a difference or you don't notice any difference? Say yes or say no. Please say yes or say no. Which one is it for you? Reginda's said yes. Who else is going to say something? 100% yes. Yes, from the tech. Yes, things are more faster now. Yes, they are. Yes. Yes, Puspo says yes. Dimple says yes. Yeah. So, and nobody said no, I notice yet. So when did period 9 start? It started at the beginning of, around about February of last year, Lou. So it started February 2024. And really it was already happening in the month of January, because the month of January is the wind-up month for every single year. So yes, it's definitely happening. So in a way, what this era, this 20-year cycle will do for us is it's going to turn us into the spiritual beings that we are, where we really begin to discover that we have got incredible and immense powers and strengths and virtues and values, and as human beings we are incredibly valuable. And so it's actually almost time for us to give back to the planet. So there'll be a lot of divisions in people. There'll be, certainly there's a lot of divisions now, because we've got people fighting in a war, creating a war, and that's one dynamic. And we've got a lot of people that are trying to fix things. So that's another dynamic. So as we go along, we can begin to look at who I am. Now, who I am is, I would actually recommend that you take a screenshot of this if you can. What we might do is we might just have screenshots for people if they can't take a screenshot. But even on your phone, you should be able to get a screenshot of this. So if you notice what's going on here, and I mean, this is just a few of the points that I've created and pulled together over the years. I mean, I've got another half a page, but I just wanted to fit it all onto one page so that we could look at it properly. So these are, if you think about it, these are our qualities as human beings. Many human beings have got these as their qualities. So a person who is accommodating, or a soul that is accommodating, a soul that is accomplished, you know, they have got good strong will, they've got certainty within themselves. So think of this all as being our spiritual selves. This is not our physical bodies. So yes, if you're living a very physical life, of course you're going to have these virtues. There's no doubt about it. Otherwise, you won't be able to do your life. But I'm just saying that these are also innate spiritual qualities as well. And I just want to draw your attention to that. So to be accurate, to be able to adjust yourself, to be affectionate, to be appreciative, to be aware, to be attentive, balanced, to keep your balance is keeping your balance in your life is actually an art form. To be brave, to be big-hearted, benevolent, calm, caring, carefree, careful, you know, not careless. So being charitable, being cheerful, being compassionate, being commendable, being contented. Contentment is really, in Raj Yoga, we say that contentment is the mother of all virtues. So it means that you've got everything fulfilled in you if you can be a contented personality. So, you know, ethical, discriminating, devoted, determined, detached, creative, conscientious, communicative, esteemed, faithful, fearless, flexible, flourishing, friendly, generous, gentle soul, genuine soul, giving soul, good-natured soul, gracious soul, happy soul, you know, healing soul, helpful soul, honest soul, honorable soul, humble soul, humorous soul. Where would we be without humor? Intuitive, initiative, a soul that has initiative, joyful, kindness, light-hearted, a light soul, a loving soul, a noble soul, a merciful soul, a mature soul, an optimistic soul, an open soul, an obedient soul, a nurturing soul, a peaceful soul, a patient soul, a persevering soul, a powerful soul, a positive soul, a purposeful soul, a pure soul, a reliable soul, a refreshing soul. You know, so these are actually all the things that we really love. Like, who doesn't love? Put your hand up if you don't love a refreshing soul in your midst. You know, somebody that comes in and they're full of humor and lightness, and, you know, they're not hanging on to anything at all, you know. So responsive, simple soul, being a simple soul is definitely an elevated position, being uncomplicated, you know. So being spontaneous and sympathetic and sweet, and being transformational or tireless or thoughtful or thriving or tolerant or trustworthy or truthful or uncomplicated. Uncomplicated is excellent. You know, think of all the things that you love: a wise soul, a willing soul, a worthwhile soul, a worthy soul, a lovable soul, a faithful soul, a creative soul. So these are qualities. These are not, this is like a spiritual, each of these are like a spiritual power, intuitive soul, an introspective soul, a giving soul, a congenial soul, a conscientious soul. Each of these are the soul's qualities. So, in a way, this is who you are. And what we tend to do when we don't know who we are, or, like some people do come from extremely bad backgrounds where they don't know who they are. So yeah, they could be one of the best healers on the world, on the planet, but they don't know that they are because they've been bruised and battered along the way. They've bounced off the walls as they've been growing up, So they could be an incredibly valuable soul, a really worthwhile soul, a worthy soul, but they don't even know it. And there is actually a dynamic where we really, really do we do need to know things to be things. So, it's just like, for instance, to rise as the phoenix, you need to have a plan. You need to actually have a plan. And this is the plan. So, the reason why it is the plan is because, deep down, this is who you are at certain levels. And when you are able to tap in, and bear in mind, you might be able to come up with another couple of hundred. So when you are able to tap into things like this and say to yourself at a time of need, no, hang on a minute, I'm not going to cave into this. I am actually a strong soul. So when we have self-respect, what we are able to do is we are able to tap into all of these dynamics and just say to yourself, now hang on a minute, I'm feeling a bit determined about this and I don't want to give up on it. And I don't have to give up on it. I just have to find a way to do it. If people don't approve of me, that's okay, because I approve of me, because I know I can definitely do it. Yeah? So this is a good voice to have in your head. So, to be a brave soul, to be a benevolent soul, to be big-hearted, to be creative, this is where you are able to hang on and say, hang on for a minute. I am a lot of these things on this page. And so now we're going to have about a 2-minute exercise. And I want you to go down each of our 5 columns here. And I want you to put a little dot next to the one that you think, that you are. If you've got a screenshot, maybe you can do that. But if not, maybe you can just quickly scribble it down. Say, communicative, giving, modest, noble, open, orderly. Just put down a few, or put down your big ones that you absolutely practice every day, even. You might not know that you practice them every day, but you do. Integrity, intuitive. You take the initiative. You're a kind soul. You're a faithful soul to all your friends. You're a well-wishing soul. You're a trustworthy soul. So who are you? This is the question. Who are you? Which one of these are you? So if you've got a screenshot, just scribble a couple down. Scribble at least 5 down. because you're going to have when you've got a screenshot, you'll have a lot of time to go through it. And actually what we can do is I'll do a screenshot of this myself, and I'll send it off to the center, and they can to the meditation cafe, and they can share it with you after our time together today. And go through these and put a little dot next to the ones that you know you are. So in the cases where it's hard to be have self-love, we can only develop self-love with respect. And so respect is the thing where we say to ourselves, we're not saying, if you try to say it to other people, they'll just, find 1,000 reasons why you're not one of these, and you don't really want to hear that jargon, because this is a very personal thing. This is about who you are and what you have. These are your treasures. This is how you can maneuver your life, navigate your life, and live your best life. People who let's talk about things like people who make money, for example, right? People who make money are able to make money simply because they have developed these qualities. They have developed awareness. They have measured themselves to become capable. They have become brave. They have become appreciative. They have adjusted themselves. They have accommodated situations. They have been able to be mature about things. They have been genuine about things. They have been good-natured about things. They have harmonized themselves with the circumstances, right? It's a very interesting sort of a dynamic. They have been sympathetic. They've been spontaneous. They've been strong. And that's why they've got money. That's why they've gotten good jobs. It's why they've gotten good positions. It's why they're thriving in their lives. It's why they're going forwards. They are going forward as a powerful soul because they are practicing these things. And because there's a little voice in their head, which is them, of course, speaking to themselves and saying, I'm not going to listen to this. I know that I'm valuable, and I know that I'm well-meaning, and I know that I'm well-wishing, and I know that if I do something like this, there'll be many people who will like it. So, and I can still be a humble soul and say that because I know this about myself. So self-love is impossible if you don't know yourself. In fact, they say in the art of war, to know yourself and to know your enemy, in 100 battles you will never be defeated because you know yourself. So this is an extremely, extremely, extremely valuable thing. And probably I'm going to say today that one of the most valuable things that I see, I'm going to pick them out. Are you ready? Brave soul, peaceful soul, peaceful soul. Peaceful souls can achieve almost anything. Humble souls, decisive souls, respectful souls, are all valuable souls. People with those qualities are all valuable souls. Simplicity. is a huge value, massive. A simple soul can bypass problems faster than a freight train. Strong souls. If you are a strong soul, that means that you've automatically got determination. It means that you will be able to be detached. It means that you will be able to be creative. You will probably be very merciful, modest, but you will be open and you'll be organized. So can you see how valuable these things are? Every part of your life now that has got a little black hole going on, and in our lives it's almost impossible not to these days have a little black hole going on somewhere, right? Wherever your little black hole is, your answer to patch it up is right here in front of you. You know, so you can actually use this as a reference point and go, oh my God, the people at work today have just driven me crazy. I want to rip my hair out. What do I need? What do I need? And come to this little group of virtues. And bear in mind, it's just the starting point, because you'll probably write another page full of them. And this is what you can respect about yourself. So the thing about the difference between self-love and self-respect is that self-love is not as stable as self-respect. Self-respect starts off and it's very weak. You're like, oh my God, I can't defend myself for being joyful, for goodness sakes. That's what you may say, but secretly and privately, you can, when you're sitting there experiencing your own sense of joy, you can say, I'm so glad I've got that. So self-respect is what you learn to defend in yourself. It is impossible. Look, kids grow up when they go to school and they get to do the races, they get to do drama, they get to do painting, they get to do woodwork, home economics, all the subjects at school that gives them a certain level of confidence or not. And that depends on your background. So if your background has been intensely karmic and heavy and strong and then you need to start off by getting to know yourself through self-respect, because it's self-respect. This is like everything that you see on this page in front of you is what you have to bid for. You actually have to defend. If you are a creative soul and you're an artist, you will have to defend your art. That is the truth, right? If you are an easy-natured soul, you may also have to defend that from time to time. Okay? If you're a big-hearted soul, you'll probably have lots of friends who love you. So start to think about all of these things, because you can actually do the Feng Shui on these things alone in your life and rearrange yourself a million ways just with these virtues. So if you have the ability to perceive something, then you might know, oh, I'm going to work today and I've got a colleague there that is really having a bad time in their life, and that person needs a bit of nurturing. So I'm going to give that person a bit of nurturing. I'm just going to send them some love. I'm going to be really sweet with them. I'm going to be patient with them. I'm going to be peaceful with them. And I'm going to be supportive. And I'm not going to say anything. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to make the world open up and great big flowers come from the sky or do anything like that. All I have to do is just do those things within myself, and that person will pick up my vibrations. And that is a very interesting way of healing people. In fact, lots of our senior yogis have been using that technique for many, many years. So, learning how to do self-love, learning how to do, get greater self-awareness is by being able to use these special ingredients within you to make them work for you. All right, so take another screenshot if you can. Now, what have you got? What are the things that you found out the most about yourself? Just before we move on, I want to know, what's your favorite virtue? What's your favorite quality? Tell me the one that you've got the best of in the chat. Please put it in the chat. Who are you? Tell me who you are. Can't wait. All right. Someone's got to be writing. Pop a couple in the chat. Strong and simple. Beautiful. Fantastic. Pure soul. Excellent. What else? Pop something in the chat. I'm simple. Simple rhymes with dimple. You realize that, don't you? Nurturing soul, loving soul, caring, appreciative and harmonizing. Wow. They're pretty amazing lineups. Beautiful. All right, now I've got to take you down the road of who I'm not. Are you ready? We are about to move into a contrast. All right. Now, before we go to who we're not, just remember it's who we're not. All right, promise? Good. Well, we can all be some of these sometimes, but I want to just point out that this goes from being a simple thing to being a very, really hard thing to deal with, basically. So let me just explain what I mean. If I was abrupt with somebody, that'll be very different to being derogatory with somebody. Do you agree? You agree? So if I'm aloof, I could be just caught up in my own stuff and I'm aloof, that could be something completely different from me being a killjoy. So what's a killjoy? Does anyone know what a killjoy is? When somebody comes to tell you really good news and your best friend turns around and says, you can't do that, it's this, these things are leaving, that thing's expiring, this thing blew up yesterday. So a killjoy is like you've come to share your good news and somebody's just wiped you out on it. Right? So, so being manipulative is a completely different thing to being fearful. Wouldn't you agree? If you're a bit scared about something, that's a whole different ball game to manipulating somebody. We can all be a bit superficial. We can always be a bit showy. We can all be a little bit, what else have we got here? We can all be a little bit wasteful. We can all be a little bit petty sometimes. We could all be a little bit nasty, or, we're feeling a bit down, so we're a bit irritable, or we insult people when we don't really mean to, but we're just grumpy, or we're careless, or we can be a bit chaotic, so we're having we're chaotic because we're behind in time, and we're trying to get to our destination. So becoming angry, or being a little bit hypersensitive, or being a bit impatient, or being a bit influenced by something, or being a bit irritable. Those are things that we can do when we're tired, when we're overwhelmed, when we really would probably rather take ourselves away from the situation and go somewhere else. So our who I'm not ranges from who I'm not when I'm not feeling my highest, right? When I'm not feeling my best. But who I am is who I really am. Essentially, we would say that the soul comes from goodness. Because if the soul came from who I'm not, we would all be cavemen. So, and most cavemen would never be able to take something from bad to good. We can go from good to bad, but it's very hard for us to go from bad to good unless we annoy ourselves so much because we've been so bad, that we have to just go and try and start again, just say, whoa, what I just did then was just shocking. I've got to change this right now. I've had a few of those moments at different times of my life. But, you also live and you'll learn. These are good teachers, this bunch of guys here. They are very good teachers, because if you start to blame somebody and they didn't do what you're blaming them of, and it all turns around and it goes bang in your face, then you'll be like, whew, lesson 101, don't blame others. It'll be a good way to learn. So, so these go from these are all on a sliding scale to not so good to really bad. But I don't think any of the people here will be really bad. Just put your hand up if you've been venomous this week. So being venomous is a certain being vindictive, venomous, that is a certain speciality of somebody that we would most likely call a psychopath. So, but it is actually good to understand virtues. So it's good to understand virtues very well, because it takes people a lot of energy and effort to have virtues. And likewise, it is very good to understand the level of negative behavior, because that can really teach you about that person. It's one thing for somebody to disapprove. Most of the time, people who disapprove, they disapprove because they care. Would you agree? Yeah, they disappear because they care, which is very different from somebody being fierce. Somebody who's fierce, who has confidence in being fierce, means that they practice it a lot. So it's a different dynamic, and that is actually a good way for you to, what did the Sun Tzu say? It says to know yourself and to know your enemy. So where is a person up to if they are really hateful? Where are they up to if they are really hateful? Where is a person up to if they are insulting you? This is a very good thing to actually understand. All right, so now what I want you to do with this list, and please write this down, I want you to go through these And look at the ones that you might do from time to time and write down why they are getting in your way of a happy life. Why is that thing getting in the way of your happy life? Because all of these will be in the way of a happy life. All of them will be, without exception. Right? So if you're cold, if you have moments where you're cold, you go into a cold personality, it means it's going to be harder for you to make connections. So this will be in your way. You see what I mean? So if you can go through times of being argumentative, people may also not want you to be on their next project because they won't want to argue with you all the time. They'll just want to get to the project, right? So, and what is very good to be able to see inside of yourself is that if you were an argumentative person, what are you afraid of? What are you feeling? Are you feeling trapped? Are you feeling like you need to get your way? Are you feeling a bit lost? Are you feeling like you want people to know another side of things? Because you can do that without arguing. You have got a right to tell people about something they may have overlooked. But usually when we are coming up with behaviors that are really, really full on, or even just mild, really, realistically, mild to big, we're doing so because we're feeling something. And somebody's triggered a bell inside of us. And so we're actually responding to that bell. And so sometimes we can become a little bit hurtful when really underneath it all, we actually mean well and we're trying to help people. But instead of using the who I am list to help people understand something, we're using this list, right? And so what I would love for anyone to do that it applies to, you might not have very many of these things, and if you don't, congratulations. That's what I say. So, but what I want to do is, it is always good to take yourself out of a situation where you might be accidentally creating the problem. So you don't realize that you're creating it, but it could be that. Might not be that, might be somebody else doing it too. But, when you become aware, hang on a minute, I'm feeling really disheartened. Why am I feeling like that? Why do I feel disheartened? Because I feel like no one's listening to me. I feel like what I'm saying is important, but they don't think it's important. And there might be somewhere along the line where you just have to say to yourself, that's all right, they might not think it's important, but maybe they'll realise it later. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let go of it. I'm going to put it on my let go list. All right? So throughout the week, please look at anything that is in your problem and just put a little dot next to it, and then come back to it from time to time throughout the week and just look at it and go, aha. Let me look at one. Aha. Indignant. I'm feeling indignant. Why am I feeling indignant? I'm feeling indignant because I don't feel listened to. That means I need to listen to myself more. All right, now I've got a little line up for you after this slide, which is what I would like you to definitely look at this week. Let's take another screenshot. I want you to look at how you can accommodate things in your life. You know, tough things. Are you able to maneuver yourself around them? Are you able to manage them? You don't have to necessarily go forward and tell anybody or do anything, but are you able to accommodate it yourself? Are you able to adjust? Are you able to appreciate good things that are going on around you? If you are, write them down next to these things. So I was able to adjust here this week and here this week. I was able to accommodate this, and this. Today I appreciated 4 things. I was attentive. I was listening to people. I was listening to what they were saying. Big-hearted. When I see somebody acting like a complete idiot, am I able to extend love and mercy to that person and just have a big heart for them? Because it's been tough when I did things like that too. Can I be compassionate? And compassionate especially to myself. Do I have courage? Mark down all the times through the week where you were courageous, where you were compassionate, where you were big-hearted. Can I be detached? Sometimes detachment is a very good art to learn, because being attached to it, being attached to the outcome, often gets you absolutely nowhere. Okay? Today I was easy-natured about a really hard, difficult subject. Pat yourself on the back. Yay, I did it. I didn't even have wasteful thoughts. Woohoo! Was I enthusiastic? If other people around me were not enthusiastic, was I able to maintain my enthusiasm? Because that's when you know you're getting strong, when you can do that, when you don't get turned off by others. I was fearless today. I was able to speak my piece, remain peaceful and calm whilst I did it, and I was able to just say what I thought. Was I able to forgive people this week? Was I able to be a healing soul this week and helped in situations? Was I able to maintain my humour? Was I able to maintain my kindness? Was I able to stay light-hearted? Was I able to be obedient to myself? Obedient to what I would like to do myself? Was I able to be peaceful? Was I able to be perceptive? Was I able to stay simple? Was I able to be truthful? Was I able to be uncomplicated? Was I able to understand what was going on? Was I able to see myself as a person that is worthy? So big ticks for all of those. All right. So this is your homework for the week. And then I've got one last one. These are the ones that I hope you stay away from, right? Definitely being angry, but more than anger, because anger you can flare up and go foot like that and you're finished being angry. Blaming is another thing. Blaming means you're going to stay with that person. If you're angry, you go off like a firecracker. The fire has blown up. You know, hopefully the house didn't burn down, but You know, the curtains are on fire. Oh, get the hose out. But anger is momentarily, like you become angry. You might stay angry for 10 minutes, but then it finishes. Blaming means you will stay with the thing that you are blaming. You will stay with it. You will keep going on it. Being complicated means that you're probably not going to have anything you want to have happen work out, because you could be too complicated. So simplify, 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 simplify. I hope you won't be disheartened, because sometimes when we start to come up against the parts of who we're not, we think, I am that. No, you are not that. You have been acting like that. So you just have to stop acting like that. And there will be something else that you can act like. You just have to find it. I hope you won't be doubtful. You know, doubtful of yourself, doubtful of others, doubtful of the situation, doubtful at work, doubtful whether it's going to work out. Don't be doubtful. Try not to be doubtful. Fearful. Hope you won't be fearful. Fearful is something that lives in our hearts. And it's a horrible thing, because it's like a little voice in your head that just keeps on going. So don't be fearful. Don't let that your fears talk to you and dictate what you should do next. Don't be ignorant. Be aware. Be awake. Be attentive. Know what's going on. Don't be ignorant of anything. Don't be lost. You don't need to be lost. Come back. Come back. Don't be wasteful. So don't waste your time. Don't waste other people's time. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your thinking, your thoughts. Instead, accumulate. The opposite to being wasteful is actually having good wishes. So it's a good thing to do. Now, you might have your things in here that you want to write down or circle, and when you circle them, what I want you to do is circle it and then go away and stop thinking about it, and then come back and think about sometimes how you do that, and then go, I'm learning, and then leave it and walk away. Come back, go, yep, I get it, and walk away. Please don't focus on it. Don't focus on any things that you do in weak moments or bad situations. Do not focus on it. Just go, yep, I did that. I felt really bad. I felt very vulnerable. I felt like I wasn't being heard. Listen to what you just said and then walk away. All right, so take another last screenshot of this one. Alrighty. So period 9, emotions and attributes, are all this. If you want to take a picture of this, take a screenshot for sure, because it's going to show you the liveliness, the optimism, the magical, the energized, the thoughtful, the joyful, the spiritually minded, the not hiding, the new perspectives, the spontaneity, the generosity, the vibrancy, the attraction, the adoringness, the realization, the charisma, the enthusiasm, the awareness, the optimistic reality, the liveliness, the communication. But it's also going to show you the overexcitable, the confused, the infatuated, the selfish, the panicky, the flirtatious, the hypersensitive, the hallucinations, like you think you'll be seeing it in the right way, but it won't be in the right way at all. Something else will be completely different going on. So that's what period 9 is going to have. It's got its positive side, it's got its negative side. So to fit your life into the positivity is really good, and to get rid of what you can sometimes experience with the negative is also really good. So do take a screenshot of that. So the right energy inside of me, basically when I create the right energy in myself, it's like having all the planets line up for me. And that is actually period 9 in a nutshell. It's like period 9. The reason why it's represented by a phoenix is because the phoenix is constantly going through the motions of dying and being reborn. So it dies to something old and it's reborn to something new. And the something new that it's reborn to is already inside of us. So it's already inside you, but you might not know about it. And that's why I'm asking you to even add to the virtues that I've presented to you tonight. These are virtues, they're values, they're who you are, they're, in your own unique way. And that's what you have to develop. And actually, no one can tell you how to develop them, really. You have to find that out yourself. But that's also the good thing, because we have to learn how to support our own value. Support our own value is a most important thing. So destiny always finds those who create a good destiny. And what that means, that I can create the destiny that I want simply because I'm always creating the best destiny that I can create. That's our thing for tonight. That's what it means. I can create the best destiny I want because I am creating the best destiny, because I am being who I am. When you are being who you are, you will be attuned to your own destiny, whatever that is. And no one can actually tell you how to find that. Only you can find it. And you'll find it by listening to yourself. And that's why you have to know yourself well. And also be aware of what others, be aware of where other people are at. So this is the year to shed the skin. And I recommend that you do it quickly. The faster we can do it, the better we can be. And that's because there's many more things ahead, but shedding the skin is the gaining of our strength. So it's good. So this is one thing, this is a slide I showed you last week, but I'm showing it to you again because I want you to see it and I want you to be aware of it. I'm saying, so this is a piece of Feng Shui advice for you. Creation, sustenance, decline or destruction, as they sometimes call it. Be watchful of this. Whenever you look at yourself going into a situation, ask yourself, is this in its creation stages? Is it in its sustenance stages? Or is it in its decline stage? And be careful about going into things at their decline level, unless you're very good at managing close downs. right? So if you're good at managing close downs, you'll be able to go into a decline quite skillfully because you're used to managing them. But ultimately, if you're going into any part of your business, a future relationship, any type of thing ahead in period 9, this is the watchful thing for period 9, is to ask yourself, is this in the stage of just being created? Is it in the stage of being sustained or declining? And then you'll get an idea of where you are. Does that make sense? And I have actually got a secret door. In Feng Shui, there's an application called Secret Door, and it's the door that can allow you to get out and to create good luck. And so the door looks a little bit like this. And there is a magic question that goes with this door. And the magic question is, and you may want to write this down, what is really going on here? What is really going on here? If you ask yourself that question at any point in time, you will immediately get the answer from yourself. So when you ask the magic question, what is really going on here, you will find your own answer, because we always know the past, the present, and the future. The soul always knows its past, the present, and its future. And so your future self will answer that question for you. So this is your first aid application. These 2 slides are your first aid. All right? So this is the lesson to become yourself. The period 9 Phoenix is teaching us to become ourselves. Not to get lost in things, not to go off chasing things, not to turn upside down with things, but just to become ourselves once again with our third eye open. So any questions? Oh, what's the first
Wow.
question, please? Hang on for a minute. Oh, sorry, it's got 2 magic questions, but there's just one today. And that question is, what's really going on here? I think I'll put this out to Dimple.
Yes, I saw it. And yes, I'm
Really
going to type the same question.
on here. Dimple, can you put my question out, please?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah, I think.
Okay. Sorry, I took this slide from another program today. It was very last moment because I wanted you to have it.
Yes, it's out for everyone.
Thank you.
And that was a lovely session. I don't think we have any more question time for Q&A. We were supposed to do that, but I guess you answered most of the questions so beautifully. If anyone has any question, can put it on. If not, I think we'll go into meditation.
This is
And
my
we'll lead.
meditation slide.
That's your meditation slide, yes. So we'll go into 10 minutes of meditation before we close the program. And all of you, please stay tuned, switch on your cameras, enjoy the meditation process.
Allow yourself to find your comfortable position in your chair. Let the body go into a relaxed state in the chair. Relaxed but alert. And as you do this, begin to breathe 3 nice long breaths. Breathing in slowly. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And as you take the last breath in, breathe out, letting everything, your whole week, your whole month, all of your working life, your relationships, your connections, the things you've done, things you've seen, the things you've heard. Allow all of it to slip behind you now and go long into the distance. It is behind you, it is finished. It cannot be completed. So let it go and allow it to travel long into the distance behind you. And now as you move forward, see yourself as if you are standing on top of the world. See yourself at the top of the world, where there's just the pure energy of being on top of the world, allowing yourself to take all the pure energy from this position and allow it to accumulate in your thoughts, in your words, in your heart, in your body, in your mind, in the soul, and connect yourself with the great source of energy, the supreme, the pure energy of being at the top of the world, being free from all burdens, letting go of the past, letting go of anything you no longer need from within you. Allow it to leave you right now as if it never existed, and allow it to slip away behind you and move into the distance, into the past, and leave it behind. Cut all your ties and all your thoughts and allow it to be something of the past that has now slipped into its rightful place of being no longer a part of you and not a part of your life, just a part of the past. And as you move forward into your own vibrance, your own love, your own purity, your own heart, your own meaningfulness. Allow your meaningfulness to fill you with hope and vibrance and energy and beauty, and make you beautiful in front of others and in front of yourself. Allow yourself to grow in strength and power, and within your purity, your highest level of being, your true self, your magical self, your lightness, your divinity. Allow this to surround you now and welcome it into your life. It is your angelic self that you are greeting. So let yourself see that you are really this, behind it all. And let go of your bodily awareness of your life. Let it fall behind you and move forward now as the qualities that you are and have. This is you. This is who you are. And so be awake for those qualities. Be awake on who you are and who you are meant to be. And see yourself like this every day. Make time at the beginning of the day. Take yourself away and say, today you are loveful. Today you are thoughtful. Today you are in high initiative. Today you are the one who can bring benefit to everyone you meet. Just because you are being you. And so get to know the inner qualities that you have, that you are, and that you belong to. These are your qualities. This is who you are. And so let go of the things that are not really important and hang on to the things that are of utmost importance. And raise your hands high every day and say, this is me. This is who I am today. And tomorrow I will be even better. And as we slowly move and come back into the body, bring everything that you have learnt, grasped and seen tonight, stay with you throughout this week and become highlighted in your own way so that you can see the special things that you have to bring, to offer, to share with others. And allow yourself to walk forward knowing that that is who you are. Om Shanti.
Wow. Om Shanti. Sister Shakti, I think you'll have to take off your screen, stop sharing, then we can look at each other.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be nice for everyone to switch on their cameras. And if you liked what you heard, maybe you could share with us some emojis. And if you want to watch more, we have more goodness for you. Thank you, Sister Shakti. That was so powerful, especially on having self-respect is the key to get actually everything, including self-love and everything. That was so well presented. And yes, I was reflecting on myself, I guess the others also. And I realized my reflection was on, I was blaming. I was playing the blame game a lot, a long back. and realized after changing that, after I read a book where it said blame was a name for the cowards. And I said, I am definitely not a coward. So that's when I stopped blaming and I realized things changed for me.
Yeah.
And I believe everyone may have a similar story. So thank you. Thank you so much. That was so wonderful. Spot on. Love you. And we'll see you in the future again.
Okay.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.